Oh, Dragonsworn, you really couldn't make stuff like this up. And it makes me so happy. I just have to say, it makes my heart fill with joy. Uh, because after months and months of it being shoved in our face of how popular and how great the Wheel of Time show did on Amazon Prime, the Reacher show on Amazon Prime has surpassed it. The first major release, at least that I know of, because, I haven't watched that much on Amazon Prime, to be quite honest, but the first major release of a new show, besides for the Wheel of Time, on Amazon Prime, has surpassed it in viewership. So that begs the question, how successful was the Wheel of Time on Prime? Since, you would think the viewership would go up, since with that show, the Wheel of Time, they were releasing it weekly. Reacher came out all at once. You could just blaze through the seasons, the whole season, watch the whole thing, and never turn back, right? But the Wheel of Time was released an episode at a time to try and to keep garnering interest, to get more interest from word of mouth, and get more people watching that show, right? Well, Reacher, which was all dropped at once for the binge model, it looks like it has garnered more good word of mouth, more good faith, and more people watching it, because guess what? It's actually a good show. Okay? Now, I can't speak for the people that are Jack Reacher book enthusiasts. I haven't read any of the books. My father has, so he's watched the Prime series on Reacher, and you know what? He said that Jack Reacher in the show is actually portrayed pretty close to what it is in the book. So, going by what he has to say on that, paying honor to the way a character's supposed to be in a book, making a series that isn't all about identity politics and making sure that the women are out in the lead instead of following the actual storylines. And wow, you get some good viewership numbers for a show that, for all rights and purposes, I don't think was supposed to be that hot of an item. I mean, if you look, Jack Reacher is not new to film or the big screen. You have the Tom Cruise Jack Reacher films, right? Which didn't do horribly bad, but they weren't killing it, right? I mean, the second one made almost $100 million, well, $50 million less than the first one. So that's not people begging out for Jack Reacher content. Now, the first Reacher movie was okay. I enjoyed it for what it was. The second one was eh. But, I did watch the Reacher show, and I have to say, I enjoyed it quite a bit. The female lead in it was great. The cop was great. Reacher was great. All the secondary characters did a great job. There was nothing really not to like about it. It was really just a great show. And I pretty much, just like a lot of people, it seems like, have told a lot of people about it. And a lot of people have listened and watched. And then you get an article saying Reacher is Amazon's biggest hit, putting up Netflix-sized numbers. Now, we were hearing stuff like this, similar to this, about the Wheel of Time, not putting up Netflix-sized numbers, but they wanted to say that they beat the Arcane and all that stuff. And of course, it's hard to track this stuff because it's hard to know who's watching what. But the fact that they've come right out and said that Reacher has more viewers than the Wheel of Time show now has, it makes me it makes me so happy to hear this, because while I'm not throwing shade at Reacher fans, okay, I'm happy for Reacher fans because they got a good show, okay, but what I'm trying to say is how is it that you have the Jack Reacher franchise, which has had movies that weren't that great, they made some money, nobody has been waiting years and years and years and years and years for a Jack Reacher show to come out, yet you have the Wheel of Time, which we've had a loyal fan base. It's widely seen as one of the best fantasy novels ever written by a lot. Now, I know a lot of people don't agree with that. Some do, some don't. I happen to think it's one of my favorite. I love it, obviously. And it has a huge, gigantic following, right? Yet we have Jack Reacher beating it. Now, does that scream success for the Wheel of Time show? Is that something that's screaming, wow, what a great amount of people are watching this. What an overwhelming success this show was. If it can't beat a Jack Reacher show. A show that we have been waiting years and years and years and years and years. Tons of fantasy fans have been waiting years and years and years for them to adapt Wheel of Time. We're just waiting for it. Just waiting to shower praise over a show that adapts our favorite fantasy novel, one of the best of all time. And they can't beat a cop drama, basically. I mean, it's basically a cop drama. I mean, it's a good cop drama, don't get me wrong. I'm going to say, really like the show. And I know it does have a built-in fan base, but what I'm saying is the fan base is nowhere near as large as probably the second biggest fantasy series ever. Lord of the Rings, of course, being in front of that. Do you understand what I'm saying? You see why this is a big deal? Wheel of Time was the biggest new series of 2021 in the U.S. Saying better than the Arcane and Boba Fett. This calls all of this into question to me. I would love to see some real numbers. Because now we're to believe that Reacher has beat the Arcane. Maybe Book of Boba Fett. That show was garbage. But, and Arcane, I guess it could have. Because Arcane was sort of a closet success. People liked it. It was good. But, all these blowing up. The blowing up of how successful Wheel of Time is now just sort of completely diminished. Because Jack Reacher, the Giga Chad, has put it in its place. Right behind me, I'm Jack Reacher. You can sit down and shut up because I'm the king of Amazon Prime. What do you think, guys? Do you think this is another bit of news that shows us that the Wheel of Time show was not nearly as successful as they're trying to tell us it was? Do you think I'm blowing this out of proportion? Do you think that this is another view of them just blowing up Wheel of Time to try and save a sinking franchise that they screwed up, that they know they screwed up, and that they know they need to save because it can be saved? They better do a quick turnaround, but it could have been saved. I don't think it will be, but do you think that this is the writing on the wall showing that, hey, Wheel of Time, wasn't very successful at all? Or do you think Reacher was just really, 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 really extremely successful and did so overwhelmingly good that it, by some unimaginable feat of strength, beat the overwhelming viewership numbers of Wheel of Time? I think Reacher was good, but I don't think it was garnering that sort of support. I think it got a lot of support because it was a good show. But I think you all know what I mean. What do you think? Do you think I'm on the right track here? Or do you think that I'm off base and they're both just got viewed by a crap ton of people? Let me know what you think. Reacher is number 1 on Amazon Prime. Go Reacher. Go watch Reacher. Great show. And until next time, all hail the Lord Dragon, and you have a great day.